In this screencast, I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to get started with a new Radiant project. So first thing we need to do is install Radiant locally on our system, and the easiest way to do that is to use the gem command. So I'm going to sudo gem install Radiant. If you're on Windows, you won't need to use sudo, but on many Mac OS and Linux systems, you would need to use sudo to install. And so now it's going to download and install the Radiant gem. And there we go. So now that I have the gem installed, I'm going to run the Radiant command, which will let me create a new project. So if I do Radiant -d SQLite 3, this will let me choose to initially use SQLite as my database that I want to use in this project. You could also choose MySQL or Postgres or any of the other databases that Rails supports. And then we're going to give this project a name, which will create, I'm going to call it Screencast, and this will create the project inside a directory of the current directory called Screencast. So we run that, and it dumps out a lot of information. First at the top, you'll notice it's using a generator to create a lot of the files. So it's showing you everything that goes in there. And then it gives you some instructions on installation and setup. Now, since I already selected SQLite as my database, I don't need to do steps 1 and 2. Instead, we're just going to do step 3, which is rake production db bootstrap. And in this case, I'm just going to copy and paste that. But first, we need to change into that directory that we just created. So if I do rake production db bootstrap, first thing it'll do is it'll ask you to destroy any database. Any data in the database, since we don't have anything in there yet, it's okay. So we'll press Y. Now that'll create the database structure by running through all the migrations. And then it's going to ask you to create an administrator account. So let's assume that this was an actual live site and not on my local machine. So I'm going to choose to say Sean's the administrator, and his username is Sean Cribs, and his password I'm not going to tell you, but you can choose whatever you want. And now that I've got the user installed, it's going to ask me to create some data in the database from the original, or from the templates that are available. You can choose empty, which will give you no pages, snippets, or layouts, or you can use the simple blog or the style blog. Most people choose the style blog, so I'm going to choose that first. The style blog gives you a lot of good examples of how to use Radiant's tagging language and all the various features that come with Radiant. So I noticed it created the snippets, pages, and layouts and page parts for me. So now that I've got that, I'm going to start up the server. I'm going to do script server eProduction since we bootstrapped the database in production mode. And now that I've got Mongrel started, I'm going to pull up Firefox and go to localhost 3000. So there's our site. That was pretty simple. Now let's go log into the admin interface by going to /admin. And I'm going to type my username since I didn't choose admin, and put in my password and click login. And there you have it. There's your new Radiant site in about under 5 minutes. I'll see you on the next screencast.